Okay, great. So we're going to continue our study of the self. Last time we met, we discussed the evil inclination, the Yetzer Hara. And we discovered that he's not so evil. Okay? He inclines us to individualism. Okay? He inclines us to take care of our body, to take care of our biological self. Okay? Truth being told, that the far extension of that, okay, being totally individualistic, totally self-centered, okay, that would be a problem. Okay, and that would be what we normally, envision as the Yetzer Hara. But in its essence, okay, the Yetzer Hara is actually inclining us to do something which is extremely healthy. Okay? Today I want to discuss the Yetzer Hara's friend, okay, the Yetzer Tov. Okay, and I guess kind of like what Mark hinted to before, they're partners, the Yetzer Tov and Yetzer Hara. Okay, they are partners. And I want to try to understand this concept of Yetzer Tov. Okay, and specifically I want to understand Yetzer Tov in the context of understanding holiness, the Jewish concept of Kedusha, holiness. Okay, because the two, as we'll see in a second, are completely interlinked. Let's start with the source which I think Josh read last week. I don't really remember who, or last time we read it. I don't remember actually who read it, but I figure I have a good chance if I say Josh. Most probably someone read it, but it was actually Josh who read it. Okay. Regarding our second soul, okay. We had a quote from the Tanya which really broke us down. Okay, broke ourselves down into two inclinations, two life forces, two drives, two yearnings. Okay, one was the Yetzer Hara. Okay, from the Sitra Achra, the other side. Okay, the inclination which tells us that we're other. We're going to try to expand on that in just a minute. Okay, and the other one is what he calls Chelek Elo Mimal. I'm going to read it in Hebrew, and then do you want to read it again in English? Okay, I'll give you a cue. Okay. Nefesh Hashanit B'Yisrael. Okay, I'm reading in the first paragraph, in the middle of the page. Okay, Nefesh Hashanit B'Yisrael. Hi chelek Eloah mimal mamash. כמו שכתוב, ויפח באפיו נשמת חיים, ואתה נפחת בי. וכמו שכתוב בזוהר, מן דנפח מתוכי נפח. פירוש מתוכיותו ומפנימיותו, שתוכיות ופנימיות החיות שבאדם מוציא בנפיחותו בכוח. Translation, please.
The second Jewish soul is truly a part of God above, as it is written, and he, God, blew into his nostrils a soul of life. And as we say in prayer, you blew it into me. It is written in the Zohar, he who blows, blows from within him. That is to say, from his inwardness and his innermost being. For it is of his inward and innermost vitality that a man emits through blowing of force.
Okay, thank you. So let's try to understand this second soul, the second inclination, the second life force. Okay, a part of God above. How do you guys understand this description? How do you guys understand this concept of what we refer to as soul? Okay, this godly soul. Okay, how do you guys understand this? Any suggestions? I told you guys about the wrong number guy. Hey, did I tell you about this? I have someone. Okay, you can stop it for 1 second. I'll tell you about this. You're right, I should tell him that I changed my number. He'll start calling someone else. Okay, so again, how do you guys understand this this godly soul? What's the Tanya trying to tell us over here?
That the source is from God of the soul.
Right. Okay, what does that mean? Source is from God, what does that mean?
It's entirely spiritual.
Okay. Okay, where is that trying to guide me? Where is that inclining me towards? What does that want to bring out about me?
Godliness.
Godliness. Okay. Just try to analyze this just a little bit, okay? Because there are a few interesting concepts over here that we should think about, okay? A part of God above. Chelek Eloah mimal. Okay? It's a little bit tricky when we discuss God, okay, to talk about parts. Okay? Because you can give me a part of your cake, or you can give me a part of your, I don't know, life savings. Okay, I'd appreciate that very much. Okay, but how are you going to give someone a part of God? Which part exactly? Like how much? Okay, what does that mean, a part of God? Okay, so when we're discussing a chelek Eloah mimal, a part of God, okay, it doesn't mean something which you physically divide up, obviously. Okay? Sorry?
No.
Okay, what we're discussing is an aspect. Okay, is a unique revelation. Okay, a unique revelation of God. Okay, so when we discuss our soul, our godly soul, as being a chelek Eloah mimal, okay, what we mean is that it's a unique revelation of God. Okay, part of our soul, part of us, okay, is a really unique revelation of God, and is guiding us to actualize that. Okay, to actualize the unique revelation of God that's within me, that I am. Okay, we're not cutting up God into pieces. Okay, but rather there's something about God in me, as you guys said. Okay, and I'm going to reveal it. Okay, that's what we're discussing. Okay. There's another point over here which is important, which we discussed last time we saw this piece. Okay, which is the fact that Hashem blew it into us. Okay, Vayipach ve'apav nishmat chaim. Okay, this is a pasuk which discusses the creation of man. Excuse me, it discusses the creation of man. Okay, and after man's physical body, okay, is created. By the way, it's an important point to realize. Okay, and this is going to connect to another piece which we're going to discuss right now. It's important to realize that our physical existence, our physical body, was created first. Okay, first, physically we're created. Okay, and then and then we get our spiritual side. Okay, and it's blown into us. Okay, but when we're trying to understand our relationship to our physical selves, and we're going to get into this in just a minute. Okay, when we try to understand our physical bodies, and we want to try to relate to our physical existence. Okay, with everything that goes along with it. Okay, with all our physical inclinations. Okay, we have to understand that the physical body was created first. Okay, that's going to be an important point to understand. A lot of historical processes as well. Okay, our physical body, our biological body. One second, our physical biological body is the first that we're encountering. It's the first we come into contact with, and it's healthy that it's such. Okay, because first we have to develop a sense that we have an individualistic, unique purpose. Okay, that's what the body represents. Okay, if ra means other, okay, the inclination is guiding us. Okay, to be something other. Okay, to be divided. That means that the first thing we have to cognitively understand. Is that the right word? Cognitively, right? That we have to conscientiously understand. Okay, the first thing that we have to cognitively understand, okay, is that we have to be aware of, is the fact that we have a unique individual mission. Okay, there is an aspect which is collective. Okay, but we have to realize first and foremost that I'm an individual. Okay, and that's going to influence also my relationship to my spiritual mission in life as well. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys ever heard, but there's an oral tradition, okay, that's found in traditional Jewish sources, which teaches that when a child is born, okay, and from the time that a child is born, that's when he has the evil inclination, the Yetzer Hara, okay, but he only gets the Yetzer Tov on his bar bat mitzvah, when he's coming of age. Okay, girl when they're 12 and man when he's 13. Okay, what does that mean? It means that the first thing that a person has to develop is his sense of independence. Okay, is his focus on developing and strengthening himself. Okay, and once he has a healthy relationship to himself as an individual, then he's going to be able to build his spiritual world on top of that. Okay, and his spiritual mission on top of that. Okay, because the first and foremost message that we have to internalize, okay, is that we have an individual, a unique spiritual mission. Okay, and if we don't have a sense of independent, other self, okay, that I and Sammy, okay, and Mark and Salt, that we're different, okay, then my vision of my spiritual mission is going to be correct. because I'm not going to realize my individual importance and significance in the world. If I have a question.
No, you already answered.
Yeah? Excellent. Okay? So when God is creating man, first we create the body, and then the Pasuk says, "Vayipach me'apav nishmat chayim," He blows into him the breath of life. Okay? This is, okay, the godly soul. Okay? Because as the Zohar teaches, when someone blows something into something else, then it's part of him. How did we read over here? It's his inward and innermost vitality that he emits through blowing with force. Okay? When, God forbid, when somebody needs to be resuscitated, okay, then the person who performed resuscitation is extending his own life in the life of that other person. Okay? That's the message over here. Is that every breath that a person takes after resuscitation, okay, albeit it is his own breath, okay, but it's also connected to the person who saved him. It's his breath also. Okay? And that's the message over here. Okay? To understand the godly souls, to understand that we're an extension of God as well. Okay? And again, it's a unique revelation. Okay? We're going to discuss this a little bit more on Monday, God willing. Okay? Another question is, what does that mean? What does it mean to be inclined or to yearn to godliness? Okay, because that's what we conclude, that's what you guys all said. That's what a Yetzer Tov would be, an inclination to godliness. Okay, it's an inclination to tell me that I'm godly. But what does that mean? Okay? If we're going to compare it to the Yetzer Ra, okay, which is inclining us to individualism, separateness, otherness, divisiveness, okay, then this is going to be guiding us and inclining us and driving us to be absolute, all-encompassing, connected to everything. Okay? And that's going to be the concept of godliness when we discuss in Judaism, all-encompassing. Okay? Absolute. And that's also going to be what holiness is. Okay, and I want to try to understand this godly soul that's within each and every one of us through a prism of understanding Jewish holiness, the Jewish concept of holiness. Okay, because just like we mentioned last time, a lot of times concepts which we're familiar with, okay, basic concepts in religion, are influenced by, culture, by society, by other religions. Okay, and that's not necessarily what the Torah means. It's not necessarily what Judaism means when we use that term. Okay, so I think that very much applies when we discuss the concept of holiness, kedusha. Okay, I want to tell you guys a story. Okay. And I'll tell you in advance it's not a true story, but pretend it is, okay? Okay, so here's a story. So I was going to have guests for a Friday night meal, okay, for Shabbat meal. And I invited, a few of my students, a few of my friends. We're all going to, celebrate Shabbat together Friday night. And I get a phone call from one of the friends who are supposed to come over that, hey, my friend just came back from backpacking in India in the Far East, and I'd like for him to come join us. Okay, I said, okay, that's great. That's no problem. My wife loves having extra guests on Erev Shabbos. Why not just add on another person, more food? It's great, but no problem. He said, but I just want to tell you one thing. He's been studying Eastern cultures and philosophies and religions. He's spent the past several months, according to what he told me, spent the past several months meditating on a hilltop by himself. So okay, that's cool, fine. So we all we go to I figure we'll give this guy a great spiritual experience. So we go to the local Karbach shul, okay, and it's obviously tremendously uplifting and exciting, okay, and singing and dancing, and this guy from India is jumping off the walls. He's ecstatic, elated. Okay, he's enjoying it. And then we come home and we sing Shalom Aleichem and we speak about angels and all these wonderful things. Okay, and after that I said, and now it's going to be the highlight of the day. Okay, we're going to do Kiddush. We're going to sanctify the day. We're going to declare the holiness of the day. Okay, so he's like gets already into his like pretzel shape, and he's getting ready to meditate. Okay, let's do holiness. I'm ready for the holiness. Okay? And then I, pull out a bottle of wine, pour myself wine, and everyone pours themselves a little bit of wine. And I see his jaw drop. Like, his jaw drops. Okay? And I pick up the cup and I start saying Kiddush. Okay? At the end we all drink our wine. Okay? And then afterwards he's like, okay, so let's do the holiness thing. Let's sanctify the day. I'm happy you guys are getting drunk, but I'm beyond that. I can just meditate and get to spiritual ecstasy already. Okay? And then I say, no, you missed the point. Then we go to wash our hands, and we eat bread. Okay? Then after that we eat cholent. Okay? Again, it's not a true story. We don't eat cholent Friday night, but we bring out the cholent. Okay? And this guy's just waiting for the holiness. Okay? I'm like, no, this is the holiness. The cholent is the holiness, and he just can't get it. What is holy about cholent? Okay? And there's really nothing holy about cholent. We have to understand what holiness is. Okay? Because where is the dissonance? Where is the disconnect between my kiddush with the wine, okay, and his holiness and his meditation? What's his definition of holiness? And I think what's our normal definition of holiness?
It's only spiritual.
That's something which is totally spiritual, exactly. Okay? Apparently though, Judaism has a totally different understanding of what holiness means. Okay? Because when we say as a Chorat Yom HaShabbat HaKadsho, remember the day, the Sabbath day, okay, and sanctify it, okay, then the definition of that, okay, in our Jewish tradition, is to take a glass of wine, and that's how we're declaring the day to be holy. So how does that work? What is holiness? So let's see a piece from the Kuzari. You guys heard of the book The Kuzari? Yeah, Rabbi Yehuda Levi. Alex, is your favorite book? Second to Harry Potter?
I've only read the first chapter.
Okay. The first section? Yeah. Okay. It's good, it gets better. It's a great book. Okay? The Kuzari, Rabbi Yehuda Levi. Rabbi Yehuda Levi, okay, we're going nearly 1,000 years back to when he writes the book in defense for the downtrodden nation. That's how he writes the book. He writes the book in the form of question and answers. Okay, basic questions on the basic questions of Jewish faith. And the answers. It's a conversation between a king of a nation called Khuzar, okay, which, if I'm not mistaken, was somewhere near Turkey. If I'm not mistaken.
No.
Pardon me? No, not at all?
Really, I think it's next to Russia, from Russia and Europe.
Kazakhstan.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be good. Could be. Okay. So there is, as a sidebar, there is interesting discussions about whether historically the book is true. If I'm not mistaken, according to historical records, okay, there was a Khuzar king who converted with a lot of his followers to Judaism. Okay, so maybe this entire story was kind of, based on true events, okay, but not true conversations, okay. And so this king has a dream. Okay, it's not really relevant to what we're discussing here, but it's an important thing to discuss the king in his dream. He has a dream that an angel appears to him repetitive times and tells him that your intentions in your servitude of God are noteworthy. Okay, they're commended. They're very nice. Okay, but your actions are not so good. Okay, in other words, the way in which you're serving God is not accurate. Is not right. Okay. And so this dream comes to him over and over again, and he decides, okay, fine. Even though he's super zealous in his religious worship, he's going to go try to find the true way of servitude. Okay, and he goes to different popular or dominant religions at the time. For the most part, of the dominant religions today as well. And he ends up meeting a Jewish sage, okay, who interestingly enough in the book is called a chaver, a friend, okay, just like a guy in the street, okay. And he discusses about Judaism, and he's totally blown away by the messages that we have to tell, obviously because it's a book to defend Judaism. And he converts with his many people from his kingdom to Judaism. That's the story of the Kuzari. And amongst their conversations, okay, later on in the book, where Alex, you'll get to in the next month or so, I guess, or afterwards. Okay, the third section, beginning of the third section, the Kuzari, okay, Rabbi Yehuda Levi, who was an important Jewish philosopher. By the way, the book, the Kuzari, received throughout the generations has received more acclaim amongst and more positive acceptance. Okay, more praise. Okay, amongst the books of Jewish thought and Jewish philosophy than any other Jewish book. Okay, more so even than more Nevuchim by the Rabbi. Okay. Anyway, so he goes on to describe what is the worldview. Okay, what is our understanding of the servant of God? Okay, maybe just turn off the camera for 1 second. Okay, so the question is, what is the ideal image, okay, of the Jewish man of God? Okay, does someone want to read this? The Kuzari. Okay, this is the beginning of the third section of the Kuzari. Let's go straight to the English.
Alex.
You want to do that?
Foundation.
Go ahead.
Okay. Foundation of Kedusha always refers to the unification of
One verse before that, the Kuzari.
No, sorry. The friend. This is the worldview of our vision, of our version of the servant of God. He is not one who detaches himself from the world, lest he be a burden to it, and to him, and it to him, or hates life, which is one of God's bounties granted to him. On the contrary, he loves the world and the long life, because it affords him opportunities to serving the world to come. The more good he does, the greater is his claim to the next world.
Excellent. So what is our vision? What is our version? What is our understanding of man of God? Not rhetorical. Yeah.
Living in this world to try and further their place in the world to come.
Correct. Excellent. Okay. Pardon me?
Which means like taking advantage of the physical.
Which means taking advantage of the physical, which means being totally involved in the physical. Okay? One second. We're going to have to define what world to come means. One second, we're going to do that. Go ahead, Frank.
And also to make the physical things holy. Not only not only the spiritual things.
Excellent. Okay? There's, the Kuzari somewhere else. There's a famous question, okay, which is worthwhile that we all think about once in a while. That the truth is we say it every day. Keep asking, there's a sitter right in front of you. Where's that sitter? No, right next to it, there you go. This is also good, thanks. Okay, every day in Shema, okay, we have several passages, and I guess my Kibik has opened up on the first try. Okay, and we read the following: if you listen to all my mitzvot that I command you to perform today, okay, to love God, okay, and to serve Him with your entire hearts and your entire souls. Okay, then what will happen? What will be our reward for performing the mitzvot and for serving God? What would you expect? Definitely something that has to do with like spirituality, right? Mm-hmm. Fair assumption? Do something spiritual, get something spiritual. Do something for God, get, the penthouse in the world to come. Right? What do we go on to say? Crops. Exactly, crops. Will give you rain. Okay, precipitation at its proper time. That the crops will grow. And you'll be able to gather in all your crops. And you're going to have crops in order to give food to your animals. Okay, and you're going to be able to eat and to be satiated. Okay, because what's going to happen if we don't perform the mitzvot? Then there's going to be famine, there's going to be drought, okay, and then there's going to be exile. All physical things. Okay, and all the medieval commentators and philosophers asked the question, why are we not getting the penthouse in the world to come? I want spiritual reward for my mitzvot. Okay, the way that the Kuzari deals with this question is very simple. It's very simple. Okay, the goal of Judaism is not in order to get to this all spiritual world. Okay, the goal of Judaism is to be in this world. Okay, to be able to make the most of this world beyond just the physical what we can take out of this world. Okay, the ultimate reward is to be able to live naturally in the fullest, wholest way in the physical world. Okay, that's going to be our reward. Okay? The goal of Judaism is not that we're going to go up to heavens, okay, but rather the Midrash says that God wants Yelo Dira B'Tachtonim, okay, that He'll have a dwelling place in the lower realms, in the physical. That's what the goal is. Okay? If we perform a mitzvah, then where are we going to end up? Okay? In Olam Haba. You know what Olam Haba means? The world which is always coming. Not the world to come, but the world which is always coming. Okay? It's a world where we realize, okay, that we're always growing. Okay? We'll have more tools to be able to grow with. Okay? We'll be more connected to the theme of our growth and the purpose of our growth and our unique growth. Okay? That's the ultimate bliss. That's the ultimate reward, spiritual reward that Judaism promises, is absolute fulfillment, okay, and absolute bliss in our living here in the physical world, in this soul-body world. Okay? So that's the Oved Eloah. That is the servant of God. That's the man of God according to Judaism. Okay? It's someone who is totally physical, but totally godly. All of us. And everything fuses together into a greater one. Okay? The definition of Kedusha, if we think about my untrue story before, supposedly, by the way, I heard the story from the Rabbi. Supposedly it was a true story. But it's never fun to tell funny stories about other people, so I tell it about myself. But what's the moral of the story? What's the Jewish view of holiness? Listen to the sentence by Rav Kook. The foundation of Kedusha always refers to the unification of individual details into a greater oneness. To take that individualism, to take that Yetzer Hara, to take that sense of other, okay, and to incorporate it into something which is greater, something which is a greater oneness. Okay? We also often think about unity as everyone, coming together and being one, being the same. Okay? That's the vision of the hippies in America in the 60s. Okay, John Lennon, imagine. Okay, what's the vision of unity? That there's no more religion, and there's no more nation, and I'm the same as everyone else, and I wear the same thing as everyone else, and I make the same amount of money, and I do the same thing as everyone else, and everything is the same as. And then there's going to be unity.
Communism.
Okay, like communism. Pardon me. Okay. Like communism. Okay? Judaism believes in a different kind of unity. Okay? I forget the exact term that Rav Kook coins, a specific term. Okay, but the idea of unity is to take our individualism and to find out how our distinction is part of a greater oneness. Okay? That just as we all have, different DNA, different fingerprints, okay, different physical lives, spiritually also, we're different. But that brings that ultimately creates a greater oneness. Kedusha means, okay, to take all the powers, all the inclinations, all the drives which take me to individualism, that say that I'm different, okay, to take the wine, okay, which nothing is going to tell me more and disconnect me more from the entire world, and to tell me that I'm all about myself than wine. Okay? I'm going to take wine, right? The devil's drink. Right? That's what they call it? The devil's drink? The drink of the devil? Something like that? Okay? I'm going to take the wine, and that's going to be the catalyst. Okay? That's going to be the prism through which I declare that there's holiness. Okay? And then I'm going to eat cholet. And you can say something, I don't know, metaphorical. That cholet is everything mixed together, blah, blah, blah. That's not where I was going at all. But it's something which is tremendously physical. Okay, and Shabbat is totally about, Shabbat, which is our holy day, is totally about being in the physical world, eating and drinking and having bodily pleasure. Oneg Shabbat, that's a mitzvah d'oraita. Okay, according to the Torah, there's a commandment, there's a mitzvah, to have physical pleasure on Shabbat. Okay, and that's our paradigm of holiness. Okay? To take those individualistic things and to understand that they're part of a greater whole. To take my individualistic inclinations, okay, and to understand that they're part of a higher whole. And that myself, Okay, it's not just like my almost 3-year-old daughter now is very big on saying mine. It's mine. We taught her that things are hers, and we're still working on we can share sometimes also. Okay, but it's such a basic thing. Okay, this toy is mine. This thing is mine, and it's a healthy thing to understand that things are mine, and it's not yours. And we don't live in this society where everything is open to everyone. Okay, and we have our own place. Okay, the holiness is to take that to a whole new level. That my individual self is a way of revealing my absolute self. Okay? My Yetzer Tov, my godly side, my godly soul. Okay? There's one other example of holiness in Judaism, and this maybe stresses it more than anything else, but this will conclude. Do you know what the greatest expression, the greatest act of holiness is in Judaism? It's an act which is actually called being holy. I didn't want to say it in Hebrew because I didn't give it away. You know what it is?
Say it in Hebrew.
Yes.
Is it like burying someone, being a member?
Exactly, excellent. Okay, Mark knows it because he's learning a different Masechet than you guys. Mark is learning Masechet
Kiddushin.
Kiddushin. Okay, what's Masechet Kiddushin about?
Holy things.
Holy things like
Marriage.
like
Yeah.
sex. Okay? Sure. Okay? Holiness, according to Judaism, is when you have two individuals. Okay? And they become unified. Two totally opposite individuals. Okay? One's male, one's female. Okay? Two completely different things. Different personalities. Different worldviews. Different walks of life. Different backgrounds. They come from different countries. They speak different languages. No, that would be bad. Okay? But two totally different people. Okay? And to make oneness out of that. Okay? A lot of people are talking about peace today. Okay? Do you know what peace is? Shalom bayit. When you take two total opposites, okay, you don't homogenize them, okay, but you let them to express their individualism through a greater whole. Okay, that's what Kiddushin is, that's what Kedusha is, that's what holiness is. Okay? When we mentioned last week that the Yetzer Hara is Tov Me'od, is very good, this is exactly what I started talking about. Okay? It's our inclination to be individual, to be independent, and to be unique. When we merge that and fuse that into a greater vision of holiness, holiness, if you notice, is spelled Wholines. Whole, to be whole. That's what Judaism, and that's what holiness is in Judaism. Okay? To take that individualism, but to make it part of something which is greater. To make it part and to incorporate it into a greater oneness. Okay, that's what godliness is. That's our godly inclination. Okay, it's to become absolute. Okay, to unify ourselves, independent, individual, physical. Okay, and to realize that we're part of a much higher and a much greater oneness. That's all. To finish off.